All right, we are in a very loud park, but we're going to go over a short Q&A from Patreon that I haven't done, that I've been meaning to do, but I've been busy. But we're in this cute little park in Logan Square area, and we're going to answer a few questions that I've been asked on Patreon. So if you want to ask future Q&A questions reliably, hey, check out the Patreon. Anyway, first one I'm going to go over is integrated ticketing. Someone asked, or I might say someone, but I'll have whose name it was up in the video when it comes up. Anyway, we're talking about integrated ticketing. I do think that's something that should probably be worked on more in the future. Part of the problem with a lot of like Eastern or Northeastern American systems, and like the Bay Area, because the Bay Area is so fucked with systems, there's 27 systems there or something, is integrated fare systems. It's one of the biggest issues with like oh my God, helicopter. It's one of the biggest issues about, it's one of the biggest issues with Northeast Transit, which is that like you can go from city to city or even on the same line, and you'll have Amtrak and then NJ Transit, and those will still not use the same system or ticketing system. Or you could have the same fare integration, but there's still two different systems, like the Keystone Corridor, which Keystone trains will allow you to board with a SEPTA ticket, but are run by Amtrak, but are subsidized from the state. So it's like, there's no reason to have all this. In the perfect world, it should be a singular system or singular operator that does everything, but I know that's probably never gonna happen, and if it does, it's a bureaucratic nightmare to deal with. But it's definitely on my wish list of like perfect things to work on, and even if then, like, the Clipper card in the Bay Area is a good example of like, even if you have a shit ton of transit agencies, they're still going to try to use the same card, at least in between the agencies. Next question I had was, am I still riding electric skateboards or e-skate? I do sometimes. I don't have my board actually in my apartment at the moment. It's actually at my parents' house, and it needs to be worked on because it was a piece of shit and it needed a new enclosure. Maybe I'll hit up my friend Jackson sometime in Portland and actually get a really nice board this time. But for now, no, I'm not riding it. He also asked in the same question, are you riding or have you tried electric unicycles? I've tried a one wheel, if that counts, but I have never tried a like upright, bigger wheel unicycle or electric unicycle ride. They also asked, what's your thoughts on e-mobility versus bikes? Because like generally when most people think of e-mobility, they think of e-bikes, and that's true. What was it? They often will pit the two against each other, like you can't have both of them. It's generally, if you advocate for better bike infrastructure, you get better e-mobility infrastructure in general. Same goes with people that use like electric mobility systems like wheelchairs and whatnot. If you have better bike infrastructure, they can use it too. We've seen it in a lot of the Not Just Bikes videos, where a lot of the disabled people will use the bike infrastructure with their wheelchairs or e-mobility something. So better bike infrastructure, better for everyone. But a lot of people do think that a lot of other e-mobility solutions are unserious compared to e-bikes or bikes in general, which I do agree with a little bit, because there's some that are kind of gimmicky, but for the most part, like, there are some solutions that are better for some people that aren't useful for everyone. Like a one wheel or electric unicycle are very useful if you work in an office and you can't have a bike or folding bike even to pull up in your office, because the electric unicycles are like, their form factor are good because they're like a briefcase almost. Am I still making music mixes? That's another question. There's some kids having fun with a small pedal car. Am I still making music mixes? Yes, those will come eventually. I just got a little out of phase making them because I had to catch up on some videos, and I'm always catching up on some videos, but we are making some. Hopefully Conrail and Chill 2 will come out eventually. And then Lehigh Valley Rail is the last question. And I think there are so many projects around the country that deserve their own commuter rail system, or just corridors, I guess, the commuter rail system or just Amtrak line in general. And I think Allentown and a lot of places like Pennsylvania deserve a rail line of some sort, because hey, the whole reason that they're as populous as they are in the first place is because they had good rail or good rail system connected to it. Allentown, Reading, and a lot of the other smaller Pennsylvania cities are perfect for rail because they have never lost the kind of density that they had originally. Yeah, they aren't as populous as they used to be, but they're still like, the core and bones are still there, unlike a lot of like garbage new Sunbelt cities that just sprawl hell. So it's frustrating, because I hope one day Pennsylvania in general has better rail service, because there's so many good communities around the state, and there's a lack of sprawl in a lot of places because things haven't changed forever. Yeah, that's it for that Q&A. Hopefully it's a little short one that's kind of fun. Like I said, if you want like immediate Q&A questions answered, the Patreon is always the way to go. I'll put out a general post once in a while where you can throw up a comment under it. Otherwise, I will throw a bigger Q&A eventually, maybe with something like I did with Roz in the past on the main channel when I hit like 200K or something. But I'll let y'all know. Either way, that's been the update. Enjoy your day or whatever.